You started to work on this clarified lime project that we've mentioned a few times to solve kind of the citrus shelf life problem that is common in bars. So what is the process that you came up with to kind of solve that problem?
So those are actually two separate concepts. The clarification solves a different problem, and there is a separate shelf life stabilization that we use that, I mean, both of them are incorporated here. But the clarification is more for feel and structure. Because if you take, so you know when you drink orange juice or grapefruit juice, there's a texture. You can't see through it. It's opaque. So there's like a graininess to it. When you take a sip of that, your body, now knowing that it's grapefruit or orange juice, braces for acid. So the acid is not as felt typically. So if we clarify anything, and let's just go with the same example, grapefruit juice, there's no longer that citrus juice texture. It has the texture of like oily water, sort of. So when you drink it, your body doesn't brace for acid. So the acid is way brighter. You perceive it as brighter. It's not that there's more. So with this, we can make something that feels like a martini, but tastes like a daiquiri, and we can under-modify it, highlighting the spirit a little bit more. So if it's a tequila drink, which I don't know if I can say if it is or not, I'm not going to release this data. It's a tequila drink. When we make a tequila drink, we want it to be softened. A cocktail is meant to like turn down the edges of a spirit, but highlight its intricacies. So we don't want to have to beat it up with lime juice and sugar to the point where, like, I don't know, our bodies need to know that they're there. We can use less of them. If we don't alert your mouth that the acid is on its way, we don't have to put as much acid. And if we don't have as much acid, we don't need as much sugar. I started doing research on lemon and lime juice because many of the big names in the cocktail industry wrote books that published data that said, it wasn't really data, it was more like people like lemon and lime juice at 6 hours. So there's like 6 hours old. You juice the fruit. 6 hours later, you have what is ideally or archetypally lemon or lime in our heads. So most cocktail bars juice once a day. They juice at 4 or something like that. And then by 10, the juice is perfect. Up until then, it's astringent. And after that, it might be erring on the side of like milky or funky or something like that. So I was thinking, if you are doing the best thing and you're juicing every day, your juice is different all day long, and it's not the best until 10 p.m. So you're going to serve all your drinks at 10 p.m. How are you going to like mitigate this problem? So I began vacuum sealing with a vacuum in wine pump, something you'd use to stabilize wine for the consumption the next day or after. So I did an experiment where I juiced every day for 7 days, and I juiced every hour or every 3 hours on the final day. So at the end of it, I had fresh 0, 3, 6, 9 hour juices, and then vacuum sealed 1 through 7 day juices, and I compared what those fresh juices tasted like next to the vacuum sealed juices to see if maybe 3-day-old vacuum sealed juice would taste like 6-hour-old fresh lime juice. And I came to the conclusion that it drastically changed the shelf life. You got 72 hours out of it now instead of 24 before it became milky, but it wasn't quite enough for me. So we started pasteurizing. So if you bring it up to a simmer, let it roll back down and vacuum seal it, you have like 10 days where the juice is all the same juice and it doesn't really develop any of those volatile, like, again, milky, funky, moldy flavors and aromas that it gets. If you pasteurize, vacuum seal, and freeze it, I just opened a bottle from 2 months ago and it tastes like I just juiced it yesterday. So it's just a bazillion ways of stabilizing something to the point where we got it room temp stable, shippable.